Hello, everybody, and welcome to Equations of a Linear Relation lesson number 4. So today we are looking at the general form of an equation. So up to this point, we've looked at slope-intercept form, which was y is equal to mx plus b. And we've looked at point slope form, which is y minus y1 is equal to mx minus x1. And today we're looking at general form, ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. I think that this is not a very useful equation for the line, but we are going to learn it because it's going to provide us with lots of really good algebraic skills and some serious understanding of what's going on. Oh, look at that. They just gave me a spot to write those equations that I just wrote up here. But you can write them there if you want to. So the general form of the equation of a line is an equation where all the terms are collected to the left side of the equation, and the right side of the equation is equal to 0. So you can see here we have ax plus by plus c is equal to 0, where a, b, and c are expressed as integers, if possible. And we tried to keep a positive. A is kind of the leading term there on the x. It does allow us to write equations for oblique lines, horizontal lines, and vertical lines. And sometimes it's also referred to as standard form. So mostly with this form, we are converting our equation into that form or converting it away from that form is really all we can do. It doesn't provide us with a ton of information. So it says the following equations are written in either point slope form or slope y-intercept form. Convert the equations to general form, ax plus by plus c is equal to 0, where a, b, and c are integers. So if we look at the first equation here, a, the hard part with this one is we have this fraction here. So what you can do is you can end up grouping this whole thing together, this whole side, and multiply by 2. And what you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. So if we wanted to convert this into ax plus by plus c equals 0, and we want a, b, and c to be integers, we have to get rid of the fraction, right? We don't want fractions. So 2 over 2 cancel out. So on this side of the equation, we have just 1 multiplied by x minus 3. And on this side, we have, I'm going to rewrite that. We're multiplying this by 2. So that 2 is going to factor into both of those so that we have 2y plus 4. If we were to multiply this 1 through, we know that wouldn't change. So then it becomes 2y plus 4 is equal to x minus 3. So now what we want to do is we want everything on the left side of the equation, and we want the right side to say equals 0. So to get that equals 0 on the right side, we have to move everything to the left side. So we can subtract x if we wanted to both sides, so that we have 2y minus x. Oh, I don't know why I did it that way. 2y plus 4, subtract x is equal to negative 3. And then we can add 3 to both sides. And what we get is 2y plus 7 minus x is equal to 0. But we want it to be x first. So we can rearrange these terms. We can say negative x plus 2y plus 7 is equal to 0. And we want the x term to be a positive one if we can. So what we can do is basically multiply both sides by -1. Because if we multiply 0 by -1, we're not really changing the values. So on this side, we still get 0. And on this side, over here on the left, we end up just switching all of the signs. Because -1 times -x is positive x. -1 times positive 2y is minus 2y. And -1 times positive 7 is -7. So we get x minus 2y minus 7 is equal to 0, and that's our final answer. Let's go on to B. Hopefully I can do it in a few less steps here. So we have y is equal to 2/3 x plus 7. So what you can do to get rid of this fraction is, so in the first one, the fraction was multiplied by, so if we look here, the fraction multiplied by this entire term. But in B, the fraction only is multiplying into that x. It's only affecting that x. But in order to get rid of it, we can multiply every term by 3. So multiply by 3, multiply, and then multiply this whole thing by 3, which means that 3 is going to multiply by that and by that 7. So on the left side, we have 3y. 2/3 x multiplied by 3. Those 3's end up just canceling. So we're left with 2x. And then 7 multiplied by 3 is 21. So you gotta just be careful. The tricky part there was we had basically 2/3 x multiplied by 3. And when that happens, the 3's cancel and we're just left with 2x is what we have there. Then we want to subtract everything or move everything from the right side to the left side. So we can subtract, I wanted blue, hang on. We can subtract 2x and 21 to both sides. So that we end up with -2x plus 3y minus 21 is equal to 0. And you can see here that we have a negative sign in front of our x term. So we can multiply the whole thing by -1. And what that does is it ends up switching all the signs. So it's positive 2x minus 3y plus 21. And that equals 0. So this is general form or standard form. So this is where things get weird. In the last two examples, we had a fraction. So we had 1/2, and what we did is we multiplied both sides by 2. In the second equation, or B, we had a fraction where the 3 was the denominator, and we multiplied both sides by 3. In the third one, we have two denominators. We have 4, and we have 5. So the easiest way to deal with this is to find the least common multiple of 4 and 5. So if we count upwards, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 5, 10, 15, 20. Looks like 20 is our least common multiple. So what we can do is multiply both sides by 20. So I'm left with 20y on this side. And then if I have -1/4 x multiplied by 20, the reason that we do this is because it's like writing -1 times x times 20 all over 4. And then you can say, okay, well, 20 divided by 4 gives us 5. And so this is basically like saying -5x. Because that -1 really just switches the sign. So this becomes, what did I do? Where am I now? Hang on, nobody panic. I think I went way down to the bottom. I think Yeah, hang on. Don't worry, we'll get there. I know you're all freaking out. It's okay. Here we go. So basically this negative 1/4 over x, we're going to multiply that by 20, and it becomes negative 5x, and then 3 over 5 multiplied by 20. What you can do is you say, okay, well, 20 over 5 is just 4. So now we have 3 times 4, which is 12. If you really wanted, you could go 3 multiplied by 20 is 60 divided by 5, and that gives us 12. So then we say plus 12. And what that does is by multiplying everything by the lowest common multiple, we have converted both fractions into whole numbers, which is great. And now we just need to move everything to the other side. So I'm going to add 5x to both sides and subtract 12 to both sides. So I'm left with 5x plus 20y minus 12 equals 0. Snooze. Haha. Hopefully that makes sense. That was the kind of the weirdest thing I think in this unit that we're going to do. Okay, I'm going to erase this stuff here just so that we can read the next question. So it says, determine the equation in general form of the line with a slope negative 3 over 7 passing through to negative 1. So in the end, we want general form, but we can't start there. We have to figure out what information we have. So we are given the slope and a point. So if we're given a point and a slope, we can write this in point slope form or slope point form. I think it's point slope form. So let's do that. We know our point slope form is, if I can ever figure this out, y minus y1 is equal to m x minus x1, and we can fill in those numbers. So I know y minus y1 is equal to negative 3 over 7 x minus x1. Again, I can simplify this because we are subtracting a negative. So it's y plus 1 is equal to negative 3 over 7 x minus 2. So that's the equation in point slope form. Now we want it in general form. So I'm going to take it up here. So we have y plus 1 is equal to negative 3 over 7 x minus 2. And what I can do is I'm going to switch this into general form. So the first thing I want to do is get rid of my fraction here, or at least this 7 down here. So I can multiply this whole side by 7 and multiply this whole side by 7. 7 over 7 cancels on this side. So I'm left with negative 3x minus 2. And on this side, that 7 is going to factor into both of those terms in the brackets. So I'm going to have 7y plus 7. Now I can factor this negative 3 into both of these terms here. This is why we did all of our polynomial distributing stuff. So this side stays 7y plus 7. On the other side, I have negative 3x plus 6. And I can move both of these terms over. So I'm going to add 3x to both sides and subtract 6. Add 3x, subtract 6. So I'm left with 3x plus 7y. And I have positive 7 minus 6 gives me plus 1 equals 0. And that's the equation in general form. So you had to start by writing the equation in a way where you could use the information given. So they gave you slope and a point, so you would want to write it in point slope form, and then just do the algebra to convert it. Okie dokie, we are going to do one more question. It says determine the slope and y-intercept from the general form. So we have the general form and we want to find the slope and the y-intercept. So in order to do that, or the easiest way to do that, is to convert these into slope-intercept form, right? So we want to convert into slope-intercept form because that will tell us both pieces of information we want to get. So slope-intercept form, just as a reminder, is y is equal to mx plus b. So y is by itself. The thing we want to do is get y by itself. So let's start with A. I have all of this stuff. So what I'm going to do is move everything that's not a y term over to the right. So I can subtract 25, and I'm left with 2x minus 5y is equal to, well, I subtract 25 to that side too, so negative 25. And then I'm going to get rid of this x term, so subtract 2x to both sides, and I'm left with negative 5y is equal to negative 2x minus 25. I just switched the order on that side. And now I want to get rid of that negative 5 multiplied by that y, so I can divide every term by negative 5. You have to do this to every term. And we are left with y on this side. Negative 2 divided by negative 5 is 2 over positive 5x. And negative 25 divided by negative 5 gives us positive 5. So there's the equation in slope-intercept form. So now I know that for A, the slope is 2 over 5, and the y-intercept is positive 5. Awesome. Same process with the next one. We're going to try to get y by itself. So I'm going to add 15 to both sides and subtract 6x from both sides. So that cancels and that cancels. I'm left with 2y is equal to negative 6x plus 15. And then I can divide both sides by, or every term by 2. 2 over 2 cancels. I'm left with y. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3x. And 15 over 2 doesn't divide, so we're going to leave it as a fraction. We don't want to really use decimals. They're kind of a pain in the butt. We'll leave it as a fraction. So now we know that our slope is negative 3, and our y-intercept, or the b value, is 15 over 2. Not so bad. I think we'll leave it there for now. That's the last bit of the course. Congratulations, you've watched all the videos. Hopefully you have anyways. And for those of you who did actually watch all the videos, you are the best, and you're the reason this class runs as smoothly as it does. So thank you so much. For the last time, don't forget to like, and don't forget to subscribe.